Beyond truth and lies are the stories without answers. Welcome to Dragon's Bread. We all face unknowns, but rarely a true unknown, something unreal. So imagine a hole being burned straight through the heart of your predictable life and a perfect mystery stepping through. What do? Do you run for the safety of someone who will tell you what's real? Or do you go forward to find out for yourself? This is tax attorney Rey Hernandez' Moment of Truth story. And we're calling it, Then Weird.
Met some very nice people, some very, very, very nice people. Don't you meet the nicest people in your dream?
So here you are, the day before your event, highly educated. You're in your career at that time, you're a lawyer?
Yes, I was an attorney. On one level, I'm an IRS tax attorney, dealing with complicated estate tax returns.
Very nice people, some very, very, very nice people.
Back in 2012, my daughter was 10 years old. It was, if I didn't go to church on Sundays and to group prayer meetings on Thursdays, then it was all hell in my household for my wife.
How did you feel about your situation in life at that time?
A lost soul. It actually started, this was on a Saturday evening in early March of 2012. We had a dog that was 15 years old. She was like our first daughter. She was taking Viagra for her heart, diuretics for the excess liquids in her body, like an old 90-year-old lady. One evening, I was outside in the patio with my friend, and we saw that she was on the floor, and she was trying to move, but she would just be able to move her head. She was paralyzed. So I called our vet, a good friend of ours. He said,
Ray, she probably had a cerebral hemorrhage. Look, I'll open up my office tomorrow so we can euthanize her.
I went to sleep. My wife began praying all night for quote-unquote angelic intervention. And then at 6 o'clock in the morning, the dog was barking. That's the only thing that she could do. And so we checked her out, and she was still totally paralyzed. So she carried our dog, her name was Nena, down the stairs, and I went back to sleep. And then in the middle of the living room, she saw floating 4 feet off the ground a metallic shaped object. It looked like an upside down U. It was about 2 feet high, a foot in width, and it had 2 green lights in the middle of it. And so my wife thought that that was an angel, and she started praying right then and there. And then the 2 green lights started flicker and beamed the light on her. And so then she got up and she got close to it. And at that point, it sort of like phased out, like it became more translucent. After a while, she started screaming my name for me to come down. after I totally ignored her, thought she had seen a cockroach or something like that, she went upstairs and dragged me out of bed. And I was like, what's going on? What is it? What's happening? And she says, you'll see, you'll see, you'll see, you'll see. We both went down the stairs. Once she got to the bottom step, actually like a couple of feet into the living room, she and the dog just disappeared in front of me. Completely disappeared. Then I saw an object, rectangular in shape, about maybe 1.5 feet in width by 1/2 foot in height, that was made up of pure energy. It was translucent, multicolored. But basically, I looked at it and I stared at it, and then I waved my hand at it, and I said, bullshit. This is what you got me down here for this crap? Then I turned around, I walked back up the stairs, I got on my bed, put my hands on my chest, and then I was put to sleep. "45 minutes later, when I woke up, I was like, what the hell just happened?" And I ran down the stairs. And then all of a sudden, poof, my wife is there again. And she's celebrating in the middle of the living room with her hands up in the air, dancing, saying, "The angels cured her, the angels cured her, the angels cured her." And the dog was running around all over the living room. But running like when she was like 2 or 3 years old. It was like an atom bomb exploded in my head. To ask her questions, and we had 2 totally different stories. She had seen this object, I didn't see it. I asked her about what I saw. She says, that wasn't there. It wasn't making sense. But then I realized that, you couldn't make sense of this. You couldn't explain it. But she did say in Spanish, parecía como una nave. She said it looked like a little craft. At that point, the way my mindset was, I was searching through science. But for my wife, these are angels, get over with. To me, it created even another layer of division with my wife, because it wasn't just the religious division now. It was this other onslaught of like, what is our reality division? Every waking time that I had that I wasn't working on my IRS work, I was on the internet. I ordered tons of books, UFO-related books, paranormal type of books, all this Pandora's box of these new genres, and I just began to read these things that I never even knew about. My whole sense of reality totally changed. Two months after that initial experience, it was the dog that woke her up at 3:30 in the morning. She went down the stairs. She then went to open up the back door for the dog. The dog didn't want to go through the back door. She was jumping on the front door. She never did that. And so she opened the door. And she heard this loud noise for like a minute, extremely loud. She says, "Oh, my angels came and visited me last night. It had beautiful, gorgeous stained glass windows, just like the stained glass windows of our church. Oh, my angels." I was like totally shocked. I asked her to draw what she saw. And I said, "You didn't see angels. What you saw was a UFO." She goes, "Oh, you're an atheist. You wouldn't understand."
Under the light of the skies where our eyes can see, feel high to the light from the sky proceeds. Come sundown, there's no one round, there's no one round, come sundown.
So this was on an evening. It was about 9 o'clock at night. Totally cloudy night. You couldn't even see one star in the sky. I was waiting for a friend of mine who had all these parking tickets. He had to go to court. He's been busy with work. He just negligent about paying his tickets, and all of a sudden, he got an arrest warrant if he didn't pay his tickets. And so he was like scared, and I said, okay, I need all your tickets and let me know, and I'll write up a motion for you to go to court one time. And so he calls me, Ray, I've got the tickets. I said, okay, great. Where are you? He says, I'm very close. I said, okay, I'll wait for you outside. So, it was like after 10 minutes, he wasn't out there. So then I remembered seeing this video the night before of this man calling down a UFO craft.
He's a Las Vegas man who claims he can summon UFOs on command. Pretty wild.
And so I said to myself, what the hell, let me just kill some time. Let me try to call down a craft.
Why would you do that?
Because they came to my house and they cured our dog. So I knew that these were benevolent beings, that they had done a medical healing. It opened my mind to that topic area where before it was totally closed off. So what had happened was that 15 minutes later, after I kept on repeating this mantra of wanting to give them thanks and for me to see them, I was about to give up. And then in my mind, I said, what a crazy fool I am. Here I am trying to call down a craft. I need to stop this. If not, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole and become insane or something like that. Then all of a sudden I look up and this huge craft was right on top of my neighbor's house. And then I heard a voice, my daughter's voice. Daddy, you and Mommy have seen UFOs. Next time you see a UFO, you call me, Daddy, all right? Don't forget. So in my mind, it was like, I got to get my daughter. And here I am calling outside, right next to my daughter's window for her to come out. She's on the second floor. She opens up the window and said, hurry up, run outside, there's a UFO. It's an upper middle class neighborhood, I should say, with large lots. I live in a cul-de-sac. The back door's neighbor's lot is very long and very wide. And then behind that was another lot very long and very wide. But this craft to me was like at least 3 blocks in length. It was huge. After my daughter came out, like about 5 minutes later, my friend with his wife and their 17-year-old daughter were in the car. And they all ran out and they saw that object. It was translucent, and it was initially made up of thousands and thousands of oblong streaks of light that formed the whole shell of the craft. And inside the craft was all this white plasma energy moving about. The husband and the wife began to try to explain this away. And then in my mind, I said, you better come up with some better stuff than this, because they don't believe you. And then that light patterns that I told you about stopped, and they were replaced by thousands and thousands of stars. They were blowing up like to the size of a large moon, and then they will blow down. My friends left. I didn't even question that they left. And then there was just my daughter and I, and all of a sudden I felt I was being attacked by hundreds and hundreds of mosquitoes. And I was slapping my legs, slapping my arms. I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. Grabbed my daughter's arm and I said, come on, Scarlett, let's go inside. And it wasn't until we got inside the house that I told my wife, and she was like in a drugged state, like, oh, we saw a UFO outside. She goes, oh, how nice. It was that point that I told her we had to come inside because these mosquitoes were just killing me. And then my daughter goes to me, Daddy, there were no mosquitoes outside. It was like the hypnotist snapped his finger, and now I was fully conscious. I ran downstairs, I grabbed my picture camera, and I ran outside. Poof, it was gone, nothing was there. My wife had been in Mexico for an entire month and was having all of these experiences, and I didn't know about it. It was after I told her about that experience with my daughter in a craft, and she then revealed to me everything that had happened. She had 3 episodes of seeing UFOs very, very up close. Twice was with her family members. She saw 3 human-looking beings that floated right in front of her, like 7 feet tall, with like shaved heads, like monks in white monk robes. She began to channel. She began to have precognition of events to happen. Her mother then revealed when she was young had seen UFOs. Her sister confided in her precognition. So all these cases of high strangeness. At that point, I just said, look, this stuff is real. You know, I'm not going crazy. We can have family psychosis here. My daughter can't be going crazy. My wife can't be going crazy. And I cannot be going crazy all at the same time. We're all having these experiences. After I had that experience with that craft, most of my time was spent reading hundreds of books only on near-death experiences and on scientific consciousness studies, 18 hours a day. And there was a period there that I was drinking. I didn't do any work of my personal IRS work, 18 hours a day. I wasn't shaving. I wasn't showering. My wife was going to leave me. She was stressing that I need to go see a psychiatrist and take medications. What it was that I was having all of these intense experiences, and they were just multiplying, you know, almost exponentially, these near-death experiences. And I need to be able to tell, you know, someone about these things.
There's been a nuclear explosion somewhere in this town. My teeth have rotted and corroded, but I did that to myself. There's families hiding in their bunkers as the air raids begin to sound. I just sit here getting drunker until my savior has been found. So tell me what you do, and I might go with you. Oh, you think I did this too? Tell me something new.
The very first 3 people I ever talked to about near-death experiences, all of them had a near-death experience. Friday, December 21st, my daughter's pediatrician. Then this total stranger I never met at our church told me about an NDE experience. Then Sunday, my own father. And he had the most profound NDE of any story, any book that I've ever read. Then Mary Rodwell from Australia, Rudy Shields, a Harvard professor of astrophysics, Edgar Mitchell, you know, the founder of the Institute for Noetic Sciences. All of them I was put in contact with. And then the other one was I was having major experiences with this human medical doctor. I still believe to this day was not human. It was at that point that I just eased up, because at that point I was fighting everything. I was questioning it. It became total acceptance.
So on one side, you start out as a tax attorney who feels a little lost. You're not really getting along with your wife. You don't really believe in the same things. Didn't sound like you really knew what to believe in. So where do you end up?
Oh, for me, it was a total positive transformation.
How so? Because from this end, it sounds like you and your family had to deal with a lot of chaos.
Yeah, these experiences were transitional and transformational at different points. So this is through time. For my daughter, we rarely talk about these things because she doesn't want to talk about, you know, her experiences. But she's all into consciousness, meditation, yoga. 2 days ago, she said, "Daddy, how about you and I get a tattoo of a little ET?" And I said, I don't like those things. I hate those things. But she said, but it'll bond us. It'll bring us together. And we could both put it, let's say, like under our heels that, my wife would not know. But it's a way of both of us sharing this special relationship we had. And I said, look, if you keep on doing good at school, then when you're 18 years old, I might consider getting a little tiny tattoo of an ET. So that's the conversations that we're having. And in terms of my wife, she is now very spiritual, not so much religious, but very, very spiritual. And she doesn't force me to go to church like before. She says, look, try to go to church with me. Maybe once a month we'll go together for these group prayer meetings. We might go once in a while. But, you have to understand that that's where I communicate with God. I'm understanding that is her base, her foundation of being, of grounding herself.
Some may see this as weird, some impossible or improbable or important. Some may see this as a sign of things to come. But what's important is what you walked away with. What did you come away with?
Just for me is that we're totally freaking clueless. Edgar told me a very long time ago, he says, Dr. Edgar Mitchell, he says, Ray, we know the equivalent of 1 grain of sand. And my response to Edgar was, and that's just one beach.
So what can you tell me about this doctor?
There's certain things that I just don't talk about publicly,
Leave behind the driveway in the cycle lane. I wonder, should I go a different way? I take a left at Mount Street and I go the other way. It's where I wanna be at the end of the day. Oh yeah. I need to turn my lights on, even though I got the directions wrong. I'm not where I belong, or where I thought I'd be. That's okay with me. That's okay with me. How did I end up here? How did my life become this? The next day I take the train, something I'm not used to. Instead of waiting for another bus like I used to, settle at the front and I pretend like I can drive, like I can drive the train. The sun hides behind the clouds and the sky, it begins to rain. Oh yeah. Do I have to change my plans when it's all gonna rain?
So I'm a vet that's been trying to do the conscious business thing for a while now. So I've been keeping my ears and eyes open, looking out for outlaw do-gooder types. And by that, I just mean people that are willing to cut through the bullshit to do a good thing. Combat Flip-Flops was on my radar early. These dudes walk into active and recovering war zones, and they make flip-flops, jewelry, and apparel from exploded ordnance. They're former Army Rangers that are willing to go to bat for peace. For every product they sell, they put an Afghan girl to school. That's cool. They make these bangles from exploded landmines, which helps clear 3 feet of space. And that's a huge problem in abandoned war zones, is these places are littered with buried ordnance. And that's dangerous for kids and families. So, to join their unarmed forces and help support vets promoting peace through great products, visit combatflipflops.com. Use the code DRAGONSBREAD and get 25% off. Combat Flip-Flops. Bad for running, worse for fighting. For previews of upcoming episodes, animated videos, and to download soundtracks, visit tuimedia.com. Big shout out to Burger Records and artists Wyatt Starr and Smoking Trees and indie artist Tandem Felix. Please check them out, and if you dig, buy their tunes. Also, if you like what we do, please rate and review the show and pass it along to a few friends. It really helps us out. All right, folks, that's a wrap. Stay true.